Hi class, we are going to talk about how to use struct class within classes. We call it hierarchy. So struct in classes are like any other data type that you have dealt with. It can be used the same way. So look at an example like integer. You can declare it, you can initialize it, modify it. You can use it as a parameters in a function, passed by value or passed by reference. And also you can return any data type. And so struct and class are the same. So any class and struct that you've defined can be used in a similar way. So we saw that in the last implementation of the class, we have a city and a state inside the car, but apparently it's just a location in the United States, right? And so you can encapsulate it in a unit and call it US location. And that's what we are going to do in this video, is to create a struct called US location and have two members. One is the city and the state, and their data type is string. So in this implementation, I call it class definition number 4. We replace the string city and string state with US location, which is another member variable besides the big model and year. So we have the constructors like before, but you see that in the constructor, instead of having string city, string state, we have US location, car location. And the same, we have getter and setter, but because we've changed the implementation, so we are now using US location as the variable type, and so when we get location, it will return a US location struct or object. And then when we set it, what we are expecting now will be a US location, which is the same data type as our private member. Remember, the definition of setter and getter is it deals with one member at a time. And we are not changing the print car. Actually, it should be outs instead of ins here. So let's do a demo. Let's make sure that it's outs here. Yeah. Okay. So I thought it's a good time to kind of review line by line with you. Maybe that will help you to understand this better. So as usual, we have the IO stream, because we are only going to do C out this time. If we are going to use file stream, output stream, we would use F stream, right? For string, we have been using string, so the string library has to be here. We are using the namespace standard. So we are using the US location structure. So there is actually a difference. If we put car first and then US location after, it might not work. We have the member variables city and state, both are strings. And then in the class car, we have still the make, the model, the year is an integer, and then the location is US location struct. Constructors, the default constructor car without any parameters, and then this is another constructor that will take in the make, the model, the year, and the location. For the getter, we only allow location to be get and location to be set, because once we created a car, it will change make and model and year unless you remake the whole car. So I don't, and so that's why there's no other kind of getters except this and setters except this two. Also have to want to mention to you that it is by convention. We put the constructor right after the public keyword with colon, and then we put the getter and setter, and then everything else afterwards. We'll talk about the main function later. Let's talk about the how the class and the struct is implemented, because it's US location is a struct, so there's no member functions in this case, and the constructor are exactly the same for the default like before. We only set the year, we don't do anything else. But for the second constructor, we actually had to change the code to accommodate the US location as the new struct for the location. To get location is very simple, and like we said before, the struct, the new data type, can be used just like any other data type. So we return location, US location data type, or an object of that when someone called the get location. Set location, just also want to remind you that car : for any function, any member functions for a class. So get location, we talked about it. Set location, we would just set it with the object. We could potentially also do we can actually do city also in a way, but usually we don't want to do it that way with string and decompose it, because a lot of times we actually don't want to know what's in a struct. We actually want an interface that's easy for us to use and abstract out all the unnecessary implementation details. So we'll talk more about that after this. Print card has not changed in the most part, except when we print out the location. So you would see that in our last one, when we implement the print, we directly just access the stay and then see if it's empty. If not, then we will print out the line it is located in. But in this current implementation, we are getting the city through the or the member called location. So we say location dot stay, and then we test if the string is empty. The same for the city. And then we print out the city name if it's available, comma, city, and then full stop. Let's look at how we write the main function this time. So because location is a struct, so this is how we initiate it with curly bracelet. For my car, actually, we can do it this way so that we don't have to use the equal, actually. Because when we use equal and then the class name and then the parameters, that's usually when we declare the object without initiating it, or just using the default constructor to initialize it. So this is cleaner code, so it's better to use it this way. And so remember, it's just the object name and then parentheses and then the parameters, and it will automatically call the constructor with four parameters. So after my car is being a construct, we call the print car and pass C out inside, so that all the printing is printing out to the terminal. And then we also declare a location called your location without a city name. We initialize the your car. We call the constructor with 4 parameters. Because we can actually access the city directly of your location or your load. So we set it up using the assignment operator and set your log to basically Mountain View, and then the state is CA. And then we use the set location, which is the setter for car class, to set the location to YOLO. And then we print out your car. So let's see how it will work. So we compiled it, and then so now the first part of the program will print out San Jose. This is a 2018 VW Passat. It is located in San Jose, California. And then the second part will print out this is 2014 Ferrari F60. It is located in Mountain View, CA. And you see that even though we didn't give it Mountain View before, but we were able to set up the location, the city of the location afterwards. So to recap, we can use classes and structure, mixing them together just like other data types. And we can use class and structure just like other data types, in functions as a return type. So next, we are going to talk about what is abstract data type.